Hello, and thank you for joining us once again on Classic Vinyl Podcast, and we're going to take a magic carpet ride today.
You don't know what we might find.
Lousy candles, all I found.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm one of your hosts, Justin. I'm here with my co-host, Tyler, once again.
Yes, I am.
And this is the podcast where we attempt, with our limited knowledge, to listen to and review songs and albums from the classic vinyl era of the 60s and 70s. And today we're going to do Steppenwolf and Magic Carpet Ride.
Der Steppenwolfen.
Well, no, they're actually kind of American and Canadian.
Oh, it's just Steppenwolf.
Yeah,
Okay.
just Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little history on the band Steppenwolf. They're an American and Canadian rock band that was formed in 1967. The band consists of John Kay on vocals and guitars, Goldie McJohn, I really like that name, organ and piano, Jerry Edmonton, he's got to be the one from Canada, doesn't he? Drums, and they're all formerly of the band called the Sparrows. I like that name.
Yeah.
So Michael Monarch, he's on guitars, and Rushton Moreve is bass guitar, and they were recruited by placing an ad in a Los Angeles newspaper. That's how they got them into the band. So Steppenwolf has sold almost 30 million albums worldwide. All in all, they've released 10 studio albums as Steppenwolf and 4 extra studio albums as John Kay and Steppenwolf. There must have been some kind of issue there.
He got voted off the island, but they still tow him behind in a dinghy.
Something. So all in all, they've released 8 gold albums, 1 platinum album, and 12 Billboard singles, which were top 40 hits, including 3 of those hits that made the top 10. And of course, this is one of them, Magic Carpet Ride, and their most famous song, I would say, Born to be Wild and Rock Me. There's a couple other songs I really enjoy, too. They're kind of an interesting band. So Steppenwolf was nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017, but they were not voted in, and all I gotta say is, who gives a shit anymore about this stupid Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Amen. Preach it to the choir, sir.
So the band name Steppenwolf comes from Hermann Hesse's novel of the same name. Their breakthrough came through with their 3rd single, their most popular song, Born to be Wild, as well as their single, The Pusher. They were both used in the 1969 film, very popular, Easy Rider. Mm-hmm. Great film. You need to see it if you haven't. Second album was titled, most importantly, this is a great album name for the second album. It was called The Second.
Uh-huh.
And it had their second big hit single, which is the one we're doing today, Magic Carpet Ride, which reached number 3 in the U.S. charts. Now, there were some lineup changes in 1970 and 1971. It really led to their breakup in 1972. The band had some reunions in 74 and 76, later in 76 to 80, and then there was a new Steppenwolf, and it really consisted of a revolving door of musicians. They were never the same band. They really were. But John Kay did lead the band from 1980 to 2018, as I stated before, called John Kay and Steppenwolf. So there must have been some kind of legal issues where he couldn't use the full name.
So John Kay voted the rest of them off the island. And
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I guess
he's the one towing them in the dinghy behind him. Okay.
Yeah, there are some exceptions, but I think the one band member that's really hard to lose is the singer. Because the voice is what everybody hears. It's up front. Sometimes you can get guitar players and bass players and drummers to replace. I mean, not always, because some people are super amazing, but the voice is super important. Not always the case either. I mean, there's bands that have done it with success. So, do you want to get to the song review?
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the song review.
So, of course, today we're doing Steppenwolf and their hit single, Magic Carpet Ride. I know you've heard this song, Tyler, and we try not to... We attempt to introduce you to new songs, but What is your history with this song, and did you know it was Steppenwolf?
I did not know it was Steppenwolf, but of course I know the song. It's thoroughly saturated on classic rock radio, throughout pop culture, and everywhere. I mean, this song's everywhere, right?
Yeah, it really is. Probably not as much as Born to be Wild, but pretty damn close.
No, and it's another iconic song of this era. So I mean, it makes sense that this would be number 3 on the charts.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't consider this one necessarily a chart topper, so I think number 3 is pretty dang fair.
And see, I enjoy this song a lot more than I like Born to be Wild, but I think that song is one I am just sick and tired of hearing.
Yeah.
But it's a great song. I mean, we've said it before, no need to blame the song because you've heard it too much.
Exactly. I mean, it's not the song's fault that it became the anthem of the middle-aged man.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me give you a little history on the song Magic Carpet Ride. This one was written by Rushton Moreve and John Kay, and it's, of course, sang by John Kay. It was released on September 16th of 1968 as a single. The B-side was another song called Sookie Sookie, which I really enjoy that song, and we might have to do that one on this podcast one day.
Have I heard Sookie Sookie?
I'm sure you have back in the old days when you were in my office because I used to play it. So this was included on the band's second album, nicely titled The Second. This was recorded at American Recording Studios in Studio City, California, and produced by Gabriel Meckler. He, of course, produced Steppenwolf, Three Dog Night, Janis Joplin, Etta James, a ton of others. Very popular producer. This song reached number 3 in the U.S., and another one of those, number 1 in Canada. The Canadians like Steppenwolf better. And I guess that kind of makes sense because half the band is Canadian.
Yeah.
But this did not chart in the UK. So this was the band's second big hit after Born to Be Wild was released just a few months earlier. Rushton Moreve came up with the riff, and John Kay wrote the lyrics, is really where the song come from. Now, in an interview with John Kay, he explained about this song, and let me kind of quote him. He says, "I popped the cassette into the player, and out of these rather large speakers," which you got to realize at the time, large towering speakers, the big hi-fi thing, it was the big popular thing at the time. You have these huge tower speakers and just sit down in front of them. But he came to this track and it popped into his head, and he liked to dream right between the sound machine, which is part of these lyrics, you know, the sound machine being those big speakers. And he wrote the lyrics and melody in 20 minutes, and he went and overdubbed the vocal, and then they did some more work on the track with instrument overdubs and things like that. Magic Carpet Ride evolved from that. Pretty simple song, but a lot of people think this song's not so much about the dream machine, but could be about drug abuse. But we'll get to that.
It's the 60s. Everything's about drug abuse.
Yeah, love, sex, and drug abuse, right? Love, music, sex, and drug abuse. Is there anything besides those four?
Exactly.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
The thing about a magic carpet is, you know, it showed up in the 1700s in the Arabian Night Tales, right? As a mystical, very romantic means of transport. You know, you take your love or your friend just riding around on this flying carpet. I guess it was previous to the Back to the Future skateboard.
Yeah.
You know, the hoverboard.
That's right. The magic carpet is the original hoverboard.
A device often employed in books, movies, TV shows. You see it everywhere when you see those things. And a funny thing about another band, Paul Revere and the Raiders were the first to use it in a rock song when they opened their famous song Kicks with the lines, "Girl, you thought you found the answer on that magic carpet ride last night." Now, I'm not sure what they mean by that, but they are using magic carpet in there.
Nyang, nyang, nyang.
There you go. But I really do think this song is, I wouldn't say about drug abuse, but drug use. I think Steppenwolf's Magic Carpet Ride is an invitation to a journey where a fantasy will set you free, right?
Yeah,
LSD.
let's drop acid and go for a trip.
Yeah, which is the same thing. You're going in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Not physically, or maybe physically. So, and the Magic Carpet, it actually returned to pop music in 1992 with the #1 hit, A Whole New World, right? The theme to the Disney movie Aladdin.
That's right.
So Magic Carpets, they're popular in music.
Yes, they are.
And this song has been featured, like you said, popular culture everywhere. It's in movies, TV, commercials. A ton of artists have covered this song. So I think anybody that may not know Steppenwolf, because I think they're one of those bands that we talk about from time to time that didn't really persevere too well as far as the band name, but Magic Carpet Ride and Born to Be Wild are still everywhere today.
Yeah, what's in the name? I mean, this band is known, regardless of if you don't know the name.
Well, I think that's kind of the point, is this band is known, but the band name's not known.
Yeah.
And I don't think maybe a lot of their other stuff gets as much credit as it should, because some of their albums are pretty good, and I'll get into kind of what I compare them to later. But one of the first things I heard this song in was the Wonder Years. Because Wonder Years was one of my favorite shows, but it's been featured in a ton of TV and movie. But I just remember hearing it in Wonder Years and thinking, what is that? And I remember asking my dad, and he told me, and I had to go get the cassette at the time because I wanted to hear it. So
my most noteworthy movie was Team America World Police, and I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
I have not.
I recommend it.
I'll try it. But in the meantime, after sitting down and listening to Steppenwolf Magic Carpet Ride with the intent of giving it a little critique, what are your thoughts on this song?
Oh boy, this song is it's so interesting because it starts off with the heavy reverberating feedback sounds, and it's almost irritating to the ears. And then it clears up immediately as soon as the lyrics start, and then that's a normal rock song, and it's fun. I think most people that are probably listening to this episode have probably heard it before because it's pretty thoroughly saturated throughout pop culture. It gets played a lot on classic rock stations, but I mean, this is just a fun song. It's a wild ride, and it doesn't matter if I'm sure that they're talking about drugs, but they are also talking about just, hey, let's go for an adventure and see what we find. We don't know what we're going to find when we go exploring. And a magic carpet ride, anything can be your magic carpet. Sure, LSD, that's a magic carpet. Let's go drop some acid and we'll see what happens. We'll do some microdosing of psilocybin. Give ourselves an adventure with psychedelics. It's about a good time. And maybe all you find is a lousy candle because somebody stole Aladdin's lamp from you. Sure, who knows? But whatever happens, it's going to be an adventure, and it's going to be fine. I really enjoyed this one. It's just a song where reminding you that the possibilities are endless. I love listening to that organ play along. Mrs. Baumgartner, I always assume that it's a little old lady with a gray bun on the back of her head.
You've referenced Mrs. Baumgartner in many of our episodes. Will you please explain?
Mrs. Baumgartner is the organist at our church. I don't have a church, but anyway, when I hear a song from this era that features the organ or the keyboard, I always picture Mrs. Baumgartner at the organ in church with a little gray bun pulled real tight on the back of her head, and she's just rocking out, having a great time.
So this is a made-up lady.
This is a made-up lady. It just makes for a really funny visual for me when I'm listening to this.
Fair enough. Now I understand.
Yeah, hey, she's got a cardigan. But hey, that's what this wild magic carpet ride's about, right? I had a good time with it. What are your feelings about this one, Justin?
Yeah, I think this song is great. It is a little overplayed, but like we've stated many times, a lot of reasons they're overplayed is because they're good songs. People that listen to music a lot do get tired of these kind of things. I think Steppenwolf's got, like I said, Sookie Sookie's an amazing song. The Pusher's an amazing song. Their albums are great. They've got some good deep cuts. One thing I forgot to say about this song is we listened to it a few times. The album version is 4.5 minutes long, where the single version is just under 3 minutes. The difference is you've got that big instrumental section that they cut way down. It's really the only difference in them. But starting in, I like how it fades in, and you have that distorted feedback guitar, like you said from the beginning, and it is kind of alarming, but I like it because then it just like cuts out and goes straight into the lyrics. I like to dream, It's great. I think the keys, the organ's used perfect in this. It reminds me, and Steppenwolf overall reminds me a lot of Deep Purple. The bands seem very similar, and of course they were making music a lot at the same time. And I think it's more the use of the organ because I don't necessarily always like keyboards, and that's coming from a guy that loves the Doors that are keyboard heavy in a way, but I like the way Deep Purple, I like the way Steppenwolf use the organs because they're almost haunting in their sound, and especially a lot of their songs, and I just think it adds a dimension to them that it just wouldn't be there without it. I think the rhythm guitar in this song is excellent. It's kind of mixed in the back. The organ is definitely the star in this song, especially like in the solo, that long instrumental section. But it's got good thick bass throughout. It's mixed very well. And I love the chunky sound, the chunky rhythm to it. It's a very attractive song to me in that manner, and I've played the rhythm a little bit on it, and it's really kind of cool to sound. It's just got a good guitar sound in it, and everything leads to it. I don't think John Kay's the best singer in the world, but he's perfect for Steppenwolf. His voice it's kind of got that little tinge of, his voice has almost got a distortion to it, and like he smoked too much or something, but it just seems to fit.
It's just a little rough around the edges, not so refined and polished, and there's something about that's where the heart and soul comes in from, right?
Yeah, good song. I've always enjoyed this song. Like I said, I like it better than Born to Be Wild. Born to Be Wild, I am burned on big time at this point. So, do you want to get the song rating?
Let's rate it.
Song rating.
Okay, if this is your first episode, I'll briefly explain our rating scale. It's from 0 to 10, 10 being the best, and I put this one at a very solid 7. I didn't think I was going to put it up that high, but I like this song better than I thought I did. It was a fun time. It was really good message in the lyrics, excellent performance on the instruments, and that lead vocal. Yeah, John Kay is just perfect for Steppenwolf. Yeah, it's an excellent band. That's where I put. Where do you put this one?
Yeah, we're right on with each other. I rate this one a 7. And honestly, I'd probably rate it a little higher if I hadn't heard it so much. And I know that's unfair, but it's one of the songs we've done that I've heard more than anything, and that's not even on purpose. I don't play this song. It's not on any of my playlists while I'm working or anything. I actually have this on vinyl, but I haven't thrown it on the player until today. It's just, I hear this song in passing a lot.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent song. It's got excellent rhythm and excellent sound. I mean, it's not my favorite Steppenwolf song, but it's up there with them. I think the message of it really good because, like always, you can put your own feeling and thought. Is it about drugs? Is it about love? Is it about adventure? Is it about change? And who cares? What do you think it's about?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so solid 7 for me, an excellent song, and I think anybody that hasn't checked out Steppenwolf and their deeper tracks really needs to because they're an excellent band. But that's Steppenwolf-Magic Carpet Ride, and like always, we appreciate you listening. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please send us an email at classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com, and if you have any albums or songs you'd like us to rate, send them there as well.
Yeah. We love music.
Yeah, we like music. Even though we don't know what we're talking about, we're still going to talk about it.
That's right.
Till next time, we'll see you later.
See ya. Thank you so much for listening to Classic Vinyl Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Classic Vinyl Podcast for updates, and also share us with your music-loving friends.